Hello and welcome to our March Lunch and Learn system from Fill the Gap Marketing Academy. We are going to launch into how to write words that sell, 45 minutes of copywriting dynamite. I am just going to wait a couple more minutes just while everyone gets into the room. In the meantime, please do use the chat box. Say hello and let me know if you can hear me. We've got Hayley monitoring the chat box, and she will answer any questions that you've got as you go along. Or she'll certainly monitor them and point them in my direction. So just bear with us 2 minutes while we wait for everyone to arrive, and then we'll crack on. Hi, Holly. Hi, Tina. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Dawn. Thanks for letting me know you can hear me. It's always reassuring to know that people are out there and I'm not talking to myself. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Julian. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Emily. Hi, Kerry. Hi, Denise. Right, I'm going to make a start because we've got some introductory slides anyway. So hopefully as people come on, they won't miss too much of the important content. So thank you so much. I hope you've all got your lunch ready to lunch and learn. Hey, Wendy from Chicago. That's exciting. We're global today. Amazing. So lunch and learn, how to write words that sell. Here we go. So today's lesson, what we're going to cover, why are you here? Why am I here? And I don't know whether any of you have been on my live lessons before. I normally give you 3 key takeaways. Today, I've decided to try and squeeze in 5. So hold on to your hats. We are going to fly through this. And then at the end, I will give you a discount code for anybody who wants to really grow their business and get involved with the Fill the Gap Marketing Academy. Okay, so I like everyone to get a little bit interactive. I always think these webinars are a bit more fun if you get to have a little play as well. So we are going to have a practice at doing the polls. The first one is, which of these words is not in the English dictionary? Hopefully you can see that poll. Has that come up in your chat? If it has, have a vote now. Can you see the poll? Well done. Yes, people are voting. Which one of these is not in the English dictionary? This is just a little practice for fun, just to break the ice and get us all ready. Okay. Everyone finish voting. So, oh, it's close. I'm going to end the poll now. So most people thought, 41% of you thought Dinosaur Hunter wasn't in the Oxford English Dictionary. In fact, that one is. The one that isn't is AC12. So that was just a bit of fun, but it was also to remind me to tell you not to worry too much when you're writing your copy about the grammar that you learned at school. Sometimes you don't need to worry too much about getting the grammar perfect. It's more important that you get your message across how people would expect to hear it. But we'll come into a lot more detail about that later. But okay, I hope you enjoyed that little quiz. Let's crack on. So, why are you here? I imagine that you're here because you want to get better results from your marketing, that you want to learn how to get your content noticed, that ultimately it is because you want to win more business. If that sounds like you, then you are in the right place today. I love this quote from Bill Gates. It's great that you're in the right place, many others might also be in the right place, but the difference is that they took action. So as we go through, I have given you some little to-do lists from each section of the webinar as we go through. So please do take action from what you learn today. Okay, why am I here? I always just like to pop this slide in and run through it quickly, just for people that don't know me, just to reassure you that I've been in marketing for more than 30 years. I've got lots of qualifications and lots of experience. So I'm going to share that knowledge with you, and you can be confident that I've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, and I can help you to grow your business from what I have learned before, which is my goal for you on this live lesson, to help you to get better results from your copywriting and ultimately to grow your business. So here we go. I mentioned you're going to get a discount code later because you want to grow your business. We're going to crack on with these 5 takeaways now, 5 in one lunch. I mean, I know that's a bit greedy, but let's see what we can do. Here they are, the 5 takeaways. Number 1, who am I talking to anyway? Number 2, it's not you, it's me, and why that's the wrong way around. Yes, Vanessa, it has started. Can you see us? Can you hear us? I don't know whether Hayley, whether you can help Vanessa. She just popped in the chat. Number 3, these are some of my top tips. That's a bit of a medley of top copywriting tips. Number 4, people buy from people. So we're going to look at a few little human psychology tips there, sort of buyer behavior things, which really do give us some key insights, and you can use them a lot more easily in your copy than you might think. And similarly with NLP, I don't know whether you've come across Neuro-Linguistic Programming before, but there's just a few little tips and tricks that you might want to use there as well, which I thought you'd find useful. So I've tried to squeeze those all in. Okay. So now we're going to have our next poll, because the answer of this is quite an important one. So what do you think is the most important thing to have in mind when writing sales copy for your business? Have a little vote on that one if you would, please. What's everybody thinking? Wow, this is excellent. You've obviously a very wise audience, because 87% of you have got it right. Whilst all of them are important, the answer is indeed the customer. That's the most important thing. If any of you have heard any of my talks before, you'll know that I'm always talking about making sure that the customer is at the center of everything that we do. So in terms of takeaway 1, who am I talking to anyway? The essential thing is that you remember it's all about your customers. Yes, there's what you want to say, but you also have to think about what your customers care about. And it's that little bit in the middle where the magic happens, so to speak. Now, this is a funnel which I've used in previous live lessons, but it's just something that I wanted to touch on again, because it's important to remember that not everyone is at the same stage in the buying process. Some people might already understand what your solution is. Some people might not even be aware that a product such as yours exists, or a service such as yours exists. Some people might have bought it before. So when I'm talking about your copy, remember that you are very likely to need more than one version for people at different stages of the buying process, for example. So just make a note of that, and just be aware that not everyone is coming from the same place for many different reasons. Some of the other ones we'll touch on. And so just in terms of making a note, everybody that has registered for the webinar will get a copy of these slides. So don't worry too much about writing it down as we fly through, because I will email you all a copy of the slides. Okay. The power of one. What I mean here is, what I find a lot when people are writing copy is they forget that it's actually being read by an individual at the end of the day. A person is reading, or it could be copy that you're writing that's going to be spoken on a video, but at the end of the day, it's going to an individual. So when you're writing, think about the person that is reading it. So it's much easier to imagine an individual, your ideal client. Don't try and think, oh, I'm writing to a mass of people. You're not. You're writing to one person, your ideal client. The fact that many individuals might read it, that's marvelous. But your copy will be much more powerful if you imagine the power of one. So in terms of the to-do list for your takeaway number one, what I suggest you do is brainstorm your target customer so that you can create a very clear picture of them in your mind. Now, you might have more than one type of target customer. I understand that. And if you do, it could be that you need different marketing messages and different channels for your different target customers. But initially, perhaps choose your most profitable target customer or your ideal target customer and just work on that one to start with. And then really, really spend some time understanding as much as you can about them. You'll see there, I'm talking about their feelings. That's really important. And understand how you can help them. In the academy, if you want to get involved with that, we really drill down into understanding this. But even if you're just doing this yourself, just think about that. How can you help them? And then go on to write your copy as if you're speaking to that person. And I've just popped in there in an appropriate tone of voice. Have a think about that. You don't have to write in a business tone of voice just because you're a business. You know, what kind of tone of voice do you want? How would they like to hear your tone of voice? So have a think about that as well. Okay, I'm sorry about the headline here. I know it's a bit rude, but I wanted you to remember it, and you know, I thought it was a bit funny, and you'll see why in a minute. Now, I've put this picture up again because it's all about relevance and it's all about your customers. What do your customers care about? What your customers care about is themselves. Your customers do not care about you. What they care about is what you can do for them. So the reason that I've said about we being piss poor is we do not want to we all over our copy. So what you want to do is look at all of your copy and see how many times you use these words. And every time you use these words, think, could I rearrange that sentence and remove the word we, I, me, or our? Because your customers aren't interested in you. They're only interested in themselves. So we want to try and rearrange the words so that yours become the stars of the show. The customers want to hear how they will benefit. You being your customer, not you, your customers. So have a think about how you can rearrange it so it's more about how your customer will benefit. Now, I've said benefit. This is a key copywriting thing, which you may well have heard of before. It's really essential that you talk about benefits, not features. And there's a little exercise that you can do to help ensure that you are talking about benefits, not features. And that is the so what test. So what you can do is you've got your sentence. So I've just done an example here. Say your sentence is this one, and you're a bookkeeping business. Now you look at that, you think, oh, it's not bad. It's saying it links directly to your accountant and your tax office. Who thinks that's good or bad? I'm not going to do a poll because we've got a lot to get through. But say you do the so what test. So what? Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it means that we do your books for you. But then again, keep drilling down and asking, so what? Keep drilling down until you can say, so what, no longer. so that you don't have to. So what? And then eventually we would get to a state that would say something more like, so it saves you time and it means they will be kept up to date, accurate, and allow you to get on with what you do best. You can relax knowing everything is in hand. So by using the so what test, we've moved really from the features of the business to the benefits. We've moved from what we do to how we can help the customer. So you can see we've removed the we's and we've got the word you in. So that's quite a nice, easy exercise where you can actually look at your existing copy and see how you can change it to be a lot more customer focused. And by being customer focused, you're likely to get much better results from your copy. So your to-do list here is literally do the toilet test, have you read, and then do the so what test, and remove all your we's and get the benefits instead of the features in there. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second and just give you a moment. Has anybody got anything they would like to ask me? Pop that in the chat. Am I going too fast? I'm conscious I've got quite a lot to cover, but I've flown through those bits. So if everyone's okay, I will carry on. Takeaway number 3. So I say takeaway number 3. This is actually some of my top tips. So there's quite a few different takeaways contained within here, actually. So, I did do another little poll for you. Don't you love a poll? I hope you love the polls. You know, if you're getting bored of the polls, I hope you're not. Right. I can't remember if I put this one in or not, actually. I didn't put this one in. So you're just going to have to pop this in the chat, please. What is the main point of a headline or title? So pop something in the chat. What do you think is the main point of a headline or a title? What do you think it is? Is anyone going to be brave and have a guess? Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, wow. Excellent. Gosh, Diana, Charles, Tom, Emily, Tina. Yeah, that's right. It is all about getting people to read it. There we are. Read me. Well done, everybody. And it's quite surprising if you notice that some people don't even put a headline in. So make sure, first of all, that you always have a headline. Even if it's a sales letter, make sure it's got a headline. And of course, in emails, it will be your subject line, but you also might want a headline once you get into the body copy of your email. So these are some power words here that have been proven to work well as headlines. So I've just put those there for you in case you want to consider including them in your headlines. What I suggest as well is some ideas are to use curiosity to try and encourage people to read further, because at the end of the day, the point of the headline is to get people to read further. So you want to make sure that whatever you put in there is going to encourage that. So don't make it boring. Don't use just your company name. Make it something that is really going to compel them to keep reading. The third one on there, use the headline to call out the audience. Sometimes if you know that whatever you're writing is going to be amongst a lot of other copy, for instance, it's not a direct piece, you might want to actually put who you're talking to in the headline. So let's say if it's particularly for I don't know, let's say business coaches, you might actually want to use the word business coaches in the headline, because that means that I know that they're talking directly to you as a business coach, and it will help that stand out in your mind. And then in the middle of that slide there, I've put test. Now, testing is really important. If you if you Google about testing and copywriting, there are examples where just changing one word can make huge differences. So it is really worth doing some testing in your marketing, and just changing one word can really improve your response rate. So if you're just not sure whether to use a word or not, perhaps if it's an email, for example, send it half the list with one word and half the list with the different version, and see whether you get a different response rate, because it's really worth testing it and seeing whether or not you get a better result. Okay, so the next slide that I've got, this is some work that's been done. That this is apparently, according to that study that I've mentioned there, the 5 most persuasive words in the English language. Now, I've already mentioned you. I think most of us would agree with free. Then we've also got because, instantly, and new. Now, I don't know whether you agree or not agree, but I would certainly suggest you give them a try. Bear in mind, I've just talked about testing, but there is one here. I've already talked a lot about you, but I want to talk now about because. Now, the reason I want to talk about because is because it's really important that you always give people the reason that you want them to do something. If you tell them why you want them to do something, studies show that people are highly likely to do it compared to if you don't. I can't quite remember the statistics, but it's something like 50% more people will do it if you give them the reason why. So if you want them to take some action, buy your product and service, allow them to let you do something, give them the reason. Even if the reason it seems a bit mundane, just give them the reason and they're more likely to do it. So that's quite a good copywriting tip. So you might say, when I talk about why you might want to look into buying the Fill the Gap Marketing Academy, I say because you want to grow your business. I use because quite a lot in my marketing, and it's something that I suggest you might want to take advantage of if it feels right in your business. Okay. Any questions so far on that? Now, this is about variety as much as anything else. And I mentioned earlier about not worrying too much about what you learned at school in terms of grammar and things. I don't mean that you can have bad grammar, I don't mean that you can use incorrect spelling or incorrect tenses and things like that. But what I mean is, mix it up. If you want to start a paragraph with the word because, that's fine. At school, in my day anyway, we were told that we couldn't do that. Sometimes that's fine. Sometimes you might want to actually break an infinitive because it works for you in some clever copy. That's fine if you use it cleverly. I don't mean sloppy. You mustn't be sloppy. But what I'm suggesting here is you want your copy to be interesting. Shorter words, shorter sentences, shorter paragraphs tend to work better because particularly these days, people have short attention spans. I suggest breaking up your copy with subheadings as well, because what people do, particularly online, is lots of skimming and scanning, and they might only read the heading and the subheading. The PS is also really important. I always put a PS in my emails as well as sales letters because the PS is one of the most read things. So if you don't use a PS, I would always add a PS, put some of your key points, reiterate them in your PS, and then also maybe add some longer sentences and then finish it off with a shorter one. Just mix it up and get the ebb and flow going, because it's that sort of tone that makes your copy more interesting and it will encourage people to keep reading. Now, this is what I'm saying about if you've just got text all over, copy, words, it all just gets a bit, well, moreish. So this is where I'm saying less is more. You want to try and use more white space, less words if you can. It's actually harder to write less words than more words. Copy is crafted. It's not actually a matter of just sitting down and writing it all in one go from the top to the bottom. Quite often you might write the headline last. I very often write the headline last, because until I've spent some time writing the copy, I'm never quite sure till I've finished what's going to be the key point that I want to make. So write the copy and then hone it down. And actually, the shorter you can make it, sometimes the better it can be. But yeah, writing less is harder than writing more. So see if you can work on that and just reducing it to the bare minimum of the key facts that your audience wants to hear. Oh, lie. Is anyone tired? Feels like a snooze. I don't mean tell fibs here. I mean let it lie. What I mean is sleep on it. The best thing to do, if you can, is after you've written the copy, even when you think you've sort of almost got the final draft, leave it, walk away, ideally go to bed, wake up the next morning and have another look at it. I promise that you will look at it and you'll find ways to improve it. I don't think I've ever done this and not improved it the next day. It's amazing what you see the next day that you didn't see on the first day. So if you can, always try and allow time in your schedule for doing that. Worst case, pass it on to somebody else to have a look at. But if you can let it lie, I would always try and let it lie. And then in terms of passing it on to somebody else, this is talking about proofreading. Ideally, get somebody else to proofread it. I know Kerry on the call is a proofreader, if anybody needs any help, and I think Dawn might be as well. So if you want to get somebody else to proofread it, that's ideal. But if not, make sure you use a ruler. That's one tip, just to make sure you don't miss anything. Potentially read it backwards, which I mean start from the bottom and go up, or even just read the line backwards. That's a good way of checking for spelling. Make sure you don't inadvertently miss out the numbers or inadvertently miss out headings. And check lists. Sometimes, when we're proofreading, it's dead easy. Just your mind just somehow doesn't look at the list and think, oh, that's just a list, and doesn't check it. But make sure that you check the list, check addresses and things like that, because it doesn't matter how wonderful your copy is. If it's full of spelling mistakes, people won't trust you. And if you know from any of the marketing stuff that I've talked about, and obviously we talk about it a lot in the academy, people need to know, like, and trust you before they'll buy from you. And if your copy is full of mistakes, people will just assume whatever your product and service is isn't that great either. So proofreading isn't to be underestimated. Okay. Now, this is where it gets quite fascinating. People buy from people. So we've talked a lot about words so far, and we're going to talk about them some more, don't get me wrong. But now don't get me wrong, I am not an expert in human psychology, but I am an NLP practitioner, and I did the course many years ago, and there were certain elements of it that I have picked up that I use when I'm doing my copywriting and my marketing. And I've just taken a few of the key things that I know and use that to share with you today. But if you find this fascinating as well, I would really encourage you to research it a bit more. These are 10 of the key reasons why people buy. I've sourced this guy, Jim Edwards. He's written a good summary of all of this if you want to look him up. But these are the 10 key reasons, that people buy, particularly the top 5. So if you think, why are people buying something? The chances are it will be one of these reasons. So if you can actually work out which of these reasons, and it might be more than one, is influencing, your potential customer to buy your product or service, then if you can actually use that in your copy, because that is even, see, they might not be aware this is the reason, but if you can use that in your copy, then it is likely to get a better result. People are more likely to respond to it. So have a think about this list and what is it that is actually the big influencer in terms of what is making people buy your product or service. Humans. Okay, this is all about human psychology. So just a few little things that you might find interesting that you can use perhaps for different campaigns or just to be aware of. Okay, we've all got two minds, and we're thinking long term and we're thinking short term. So people want like a short term gain, but also at the same time, almost subliminally, we're thinking, what is the long term benefits as well? So when you're writing your copy, think about both, because people will be at different stages. Some people might be researching it and they might be looking about what the long-term benefits is. Somebody might be ready to buy now and they just want to know what's going to happen tomorrow. But each of us will want something to actually confirm both of the benefits, short and long term. So make sure that within your copy, you're ticking all of those boxes. People are emotional. So something like 80% of the buying decision is usually made on an emotional level. That decision is often made very quickly. But then what happens is our rational brain then wants some facts to back up that emotional decision. So whilst I'm a big believer in writing about the emotional, I'm a very big believer in that, it's emotion. At the same time, it's important that you do convey the facts, because whilst it might be the emotional decision that is made, we still want to make sure that we've got those facts just to make us feel comfortable that we made that right decision. We don't want any buyer's remorse. We want to feel great that we made that decision. We want to buy it again. We want to build a relationship. So make sure that although you're just talking on the emotional level, make sure that you've got the facts there as well. And I just wanted to say, when I was writing this, I was just thinking, whoa, I hope people don't think this is all in one communication. Of course, this would be like a massive communication if you're covering all of these things. And you know what? There is actually an argument for long copy, really long copy. But what I would suggest really is that this is a whole range of pieces of copy. It could be different campaigns. It could be different pages on your website. It could be a series of emails. But I think the thing is to think about all of these different elements and just think, have I got some copy somewhere that actually allows my audience to see each of these different elements, so that wherever people are in the buying process, whoever they are, whatever they're feeling, whatever kind of reader they are, whatever kind of way people learn, some people prefer reading facts, some people prefer emotion, whatever it might be, have you got something for them? So you need to basically build up your library, really. Another one, people like buying from people. That is true. And people like stories. So by linking those two together, I suggest you tell your story. And in this way, your customer can make an emotional connection with you. So even if you are representing a company, tell your story, make it about an individual, perhaps, if you can. So we want people to relate to you as a person, or to relate to your business as a person. So find a way to actually build that story so people can make that connection. People don't really want to do business with a great big, just faceless entity. They want to feel that connection. So even if you are a big business, find a way that people can make that emotional connection. Choice architecture is a bit of a fancy way of saying this, but basically people, we're just really quite lazy in a way, really. We just want to go with whatever is the easiest, and choice architecture is about making it easy for us to choose the option that you want us to choose. So sometimes online there might be 3 different options for perhaps I don't know, let's say there's an accounting software or bookkeeping software, to go back to that example earlier. And there might be, let's say, gold, silver, and bronze for ease. And the silver one is bigger, and it's the one that's highlighted and it's written bigger and it's just easier to see, and it's presented in a way that makes it just look like the obvious choice. So that's kind of the one that we're more likely to go for. So when you're writing your copy, whatever it might be, it's a really good technique to give people 3 options, no more, ideally, because if you give people too many options, they'll choose nothing. If it gets too complicated, it's highly likely that people will just think, whoa, I just can't make a decision now. So 1 or 2 options, 2 or 3 options, and then make it really easy for them to choose the one that you want them to choose. And then you might have one cheaper one for people that can't actually go for your ideal one. And then you might have one that's really expensive. And you know what? Some people might go for that one, but the best value one, the one that you know offers the best value for your ideal target market, make it really obvious and easy for them to choose that one. Okay, everyone all right so far? This is an interesting one. People don't want to lose out or miss out. So just be aware that avoiding loss is often a more powerful motivator than potential gain. So that's why people use scarcity a lot. You know, it's a bit negative, really, but it is a human emotion, and yeah, we all do it. So it's like my fast action bonus today. It's what people do in marketing. It's taking advantage of the situation. To be honest, we're in it to win it, aren't we? So if you want to take advantage of this situation, people don't want to lose out. So when you're writing your copy, if you're thinking about, well, you know, we can tell them that if they work with us, they might gain something. Actually, rather than saying, if you work with us, you'll gain this, you can say, well, you'll avoid losing out on a number of clients. That may well work better. Again, what I suggest is test, because all markets are different. So what we're doing here is stereotyping, of course, but generally avoiding loss is a more powerful motivator than potential gain. Okay, so your to-do list for this section is decide which of the key motivators are the main ones for your product or service, and then use some of the behavioral science, human psychology facts, and see whether maybe you can turn them into a campaign. So like I say, I'm not suggesting that you try and do all of those in one particular piece of copy, but perhaps just have a go at one, maybe the storytelling one, whatever has sort of resonated with you today, and have a go and do that in a campaign. Okay, so this is our 5th takeaway. 38 minutes. I said 45 minutes of copywriting dynamite, so we're doing okay. So neuro-linguistic programming. This is all about how our brain works. It's absolutely fascinating. If you've never studied this, I would highly recommend it. I'm only going to literally scratch the surface today, just a couple of little bits and bobs that you might be interested in. And when I talk about them, you might go, oh yeah, I recognize that. So this is something that you've probably seen many times before. Get the first yes. So the principle behind this is once you've started to say yes, you're more likely to say yes again. So in the supermarket, people might give you a free sample. So you've said, yes, please, I'd like that. So you're more likely to go on and buy the actual product. Or yes, please, I'd like to do your webinar. So you're more likely to go on and buy the product. Or yes, please, I'd like your white paper, and you're more likely to go on and buy the product. Or in a one-to-one sales situation, it could be, you know, do you agree that this sounds like it could be helpful for you? Yes. And it's the first yes. So get the first yes. That's an NLP technique that's often used in sales. And I would encourage you to use that. So in your copywriting, you could ask a question. So it could be a reciprocal question. They're not there, but if in their head it's the kind of question that you know that they're going to say yes to, you can use that in your copy because you're starting to get them to agree with you straight away. Okay, this it links with stories, really. You'll see, you know, it all sort of starts to link together, but this is a really powerful technique, which is visualization. Use the word imagine. So it's about painting your customer or prospect in the picture of where they will be once they have used your product or service. So let's say if you're an estate agent and you're selling a house, rather than saying, yeah, it's got a fantastic kitchen diner, go one step further and talk about how you could, assuming you know these facts, for example, that they can bring the family there and how they can enjoy Christmas and how there's plenty of room for everyone to sit around and enjoy the family fun and imagine you know, everyone opening the presents around the fire. So they're actually imagine using your product or service and how that is going to enhance their life. So you're really painting a visual picture, and that can be really powerful because you're putting them already in the position that they've already bought your product or service, and it's just a powerful technique. Again, if I've put fries, you might like to try hour. This is about embedding commands. I'm a bit nervous sometimes about NLP because, you know, it can sound a bit tricky, really. I don't want it to come across like that, and it should, of course, always be used in a very careful and ethical way. But, you know, in a restaurant, if people say to you, for example, the waiter comes and says to you, you might like to try our dish of the day. It's, I don't know, some beautiful fish. The chances are you're more likely to try it because that's been actually suggested to you. So it's sort of a bit like suggestion, really. So by using phrases like this in your copy, it's a subliminal message, and people are more likely to actually do what you suggest in the copy if you actually embed commands by using words like you might like to try, that sort of thing. Now, this is one of the most powerful ones. Please write in the chat, just to show me that you've not dropped off to sleep. Write in the chat what you're thinking about right now. What are you thinking about right now? Anybody? Don't think of a big pile of money. Don't think of a big pile of money. Yes. Thank you, Julian, Emily, Holly. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. That's it. Goats. That's interesting one, Emily. What I can eat next. Yeah. Most of us will be thinking about a big pile of money. Although I said don't think about a big pile of money, most of us will be thinking about a big pile of money. And the reason is, in NLP, the belief is that the unconscious mind doesn't process negative statements. So what we need to do is reframe or use that to our advantage. So just giving you an example here now, going back to our bookkeeping service. So if we say our bookkeeping service means your VAT returns won't be late and you won't get fined and you don't need to worry. Now, from an NLP point of view, can you see what's wrong here? Our subconscious brain is thinking late, it's thinking fines, it's thinking worry. That's not what we want. That isn't the message that we're trying to get across. We're saying the opposite of that. So what I'm suggesting is that you reframe it. You don't put that. You actually reframe it. So our bookkeeping service means your VAT will be filed on time. So relax, safe in the knowledge that everything is taken care of. So we've reframed it, and you can see we've got the your in there as well. So it all starts to link in together, really. But always go positive if you can, because according to NLP, our brain doesn't hear the negative. Of course, you might want to use the negative to your effect, to your benefit. Sometimes that might work, if you want to switch it on its head. But just be careful you don't fall into that trap. Right, couple of last hints and tips in this section. Call to action. Now, we're not Nike. I apologize if anybody from Nike is on here, but I didn't spot anybody from Nike that had registered. But most people that come on to my lunch and learn sessions are small and medium-sized businesses. And small and medium-sized businesses, we need our copy and our marketing budget to work really, really hard for us. And so it's really important that we tell our customers and potential customers what we want them to do next, very specifically. So I suggest that you have a very clear call to action on every single piece of copy that you put out there, because if you don't tell them what they want to do, then they're less likely to do it. It's as simple as that. So I would have a very clear call to action on every single piece of copy. You could increase your response rate hugely if you haven't already got this on there. So if you want them to buy, if you want them to sign up for a newsletter, if you want them to visit your website, whatever it might be, make sure it's on there. Make sure it's on there. And then this is just a really good idea, is, as you've probably gathered as we've gone through here, copywriting isn't just a matter of sitting down and, as I say, just let's have a write. It's actually crafting. There's a technique to writing headlines. There's a technique to all of it, and you'll start to see patterns. And hopefully, you might spot them even more now that I've given you some of the things to look out for. So, as you are looking online or reading magazines or whatever you're doing, if you see a piece of copy that you think, that's really worked for me, or I really like it, then create yourself a swipe file of the kind of copy that resonates with you or that you think will resonate for your target market, and just keep hold of it. And then when it comes to doing your next campaign, have a look back at what you think's works for you, and use it and see how you can change it, and learn from what they've done, so that that you can use it to your advantage, because you'll start to see that there's a lot of formulaic stuff going on, and you might start to be able to, as I say, recognize those patterns and use them in your business. Okay, so I'm not going to actually do a quiz. I'm just going to ask you in your own mind, which of these have you said in the past? Tell me in the chat if you have ever said any of these things at all. If you've said any of these things, put yes in the chat. What is our USP? I love that one. If you've ever said yes to any of those things, then what you're looking for is a marketing success program. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for playing, because you know what I did there? I was using NLP to get the first yes. So that is brilliant. Thank you. So basically, if you do want to learn how to move your business to the next level, and you do want the roadmap to help you to implement this, then I am just going to tell you very briefly how you can get 25% off the Fill the Gap Marketing Academy. So I am giving you the discount code now, which I promised you at the beginning, and I am only a few minutes late on my 45 minutes. So the code is up there for you to see, FTG thank you. That is the code. And actually, I'm going to put the link for you in the chat so that you can go directly there, just to make it easy for you. Hopefully you can see that. So just to let you know what that's for, the Fill the Gap Marketing Academy is a marketing success program. Basically, it covers everything, starting from customer research, competitor research. It teaches you look at the external environment, internal environment, how to do a SWOT, how to set your goals, teaches you how to do a marketing strategy, which is about segmenting your market, targeting your market, your marketing positioning, how to create the avatar of your perfect customer. Teaches you all about the marketing mix, which I love. I don't know whether any of you saw the live lesson in January, but the marketing mix is 7 Ps. It's not just promotion. There's so many advantages. I've done some consultancy recently where we've made some massive improvements in people's businesses through looking at the process of marketing. Then, of course, we've got a whole module on promotion, which is what most people think of as marketing. And then we look at the different marketing pillars that you need to build a campaign. And then in module 10, you actually build your campaign. And then module 11 is your complete marketing plan. It's a template for your entire marketing plan. And then module 12 tells you how to measure your marketing. So you get all of that with little bite-sized videos of me explaining how to do it, and you get templates to fill in. And the value of this is £5,000 because that's what we would have charged in the agency to do it for you. On top of that, you get email support from me anytime you need it. You get a time planner to show how that you can fit it into your working week. Any new material that we do will get added. I've got 2 new modules just about to be added, which they haven't been totally agreed yet, but I've got 2 new experts about to add some more information. Any new information that gets added, you will get. But hopefully, just to give you complete peace of mind, you'll be happy to know there is a 60-day money back guarantee. So there is absolutely no risk whatsoever. These are the templates that you get. Some of them, just a little scratch of the surface. I think there's about 60, 70 templates within there that you get. And as I say, yeah, there's 100% money back guarantee because I know that it works because I've not recreated the wheel. I've just repackaged it into a really user-friendly way that small and medium-sized businesses can use it. It's also great for people that are perhaps already marketing that just want a bit of a refresh. It's really good for that. It's good for people learning marketing as well. And if you want accountability booster calls, there's that option. So yes, if you would like to have the Marketing Success Program, then please, I would be delighted for you to get on board. You just need to click the link that you should be able to see in the offer bar on the right-hand side. Use that code and you will get £250 off, and you get instant access today, and you can just crack on and start to grow your business. As I say, that's who it is perfect for. If you fit into any of those categories, it will be of great help to you. So that's what I promised you today, to help you to get better results from your copywriting, to help you to grow your business. So I hope you feel that you've learned at least something today that will help you to do that. Any feedback would be most welcome. Is there any questions that anybody's got that they would like to ask? If they want to pop them in the chat, then please do let me know, or perhaps tell us what you found the most useful. I'm happy to stay around for a few more questions before we wrap up, or any feedback. Well, as I say, if you've got any questions about the Academy, then please just ask. Oh, thank you, Emily. You've already started it and it's highly recommended. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're finding it useful. So, well, I will wrap up with this little quote, which is one that I love, which is, when was the best time to plant a tree? It was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So if there's anything that you wanted to do, don't put it off. Let's get growing. So thank you so much, everybody, for spending your lunch hour with me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please keep in touch, and I hope to see you soon. All the best, everyone. Take care. Bye.